Hi, my name is Andrea Camacho, and my lesson plan for today is based on animal cycles, specifically developing models that describe that different organisms have different life cycles and that they all have one thing in common, which is birth, growth, reproduction, and death. And also, for my ELA standard, I would like to compare and contrast important points in different texts that represent the same topic. So the idea is to have two texts based on different animals and compare and contrast them when it comes to their life cycles, right? So for the activity that I have planned, I would like my students to make a little booklet about the life cycle of an animal. And for this one, I'm focusing on a frog. And the idea is that we've already read a text about the life cycle of a frog, maybe even a butterfly, a chicken. And we already have some prior knowledge because we've already been exposed to the text, right? So the idea is that we make a life cycle of the frog. So I have worksheets of the different stages of the frog, and I also have the text, a different worksheet that explains each of the stages in the life cycle, which is this one. And the idea is that we've already read this at least once or twice, so the students already kind of know what the life cycle of the frog is. So for the materials, I would need scissors because we're making a little booklet. I would also need crayons, and for the students I recommend that they use a pencil just because it's easier to erase mistakes, but for the sake of this I will use a pen so that it's easier to see on camera. So the first thing that we are going to do is cut the different parts of the booklet so that we can put it together, and I am going to do that right now. Okay, so before continuing the explanation of the activity, I think that it's always very important to have a hook so that the students become interested in what they're going to learn. And I think that before we even read the text or make the book or do any of the other activities, I think it's important to get them engaged. So to do this, I think a good idea is to ask them questions that will raise more questions, like, oh, the teacher's asking me this, I wonder what we're gonna be doing, I wonder why she's asking this, just things like that. And since we're talking about life cycles, I would ask questions like, what's your favorite animal, what do you know about that animal, is this animal similar to that animal, and just get them thinking, get their heads going so that they become interested in what's coming. But going back to the booklet, I cut the different stages for the life cycle of a frog, and I mixed them up because I don't want to give it to the students in order because that would be too easy and they're not really gonna be thinking. So I mixed them up, and obviously the first one is a title, so they don't really they know that this one goes in front. So I have eggs, I have froglet, I have adult frog, tadpole with legs, and tadpole. So now the idea is that they read the worksheet and they see, okay, so the first cycle of the frog is the egg stage, right? So they will get the eggs and they are going to write what that stage is about. So on the text it says that the egg stage is when the life cycle of the frog begins, and this is when another frog lays eggs in water. So, and these eggs are often laid in clusters. So clusters mean that they're all together, they're compact. So it can either be here or on the back, and they can write whatever stands up to them, whatever they think it's important to the life cycle. So I'm going to write frog lays eggs on water. And this is when the students are going to be doing the same thing, so I'm modeling for them. Often eggs are on clusters. And something that I'm doing right now is that I'm not simply writing it and allowing them to copy it down. I'm also saying it as I'm writing it, so they are looking at it. It's a visual, they're looking at the writing, but they're also listening to the information. So here it is. I put frog lays eggs on water, and oftentimes the eggs are on clusters. And as you can see, the eggs are on clusters, right? And the idea is also that they trace the words, and they will be doing this for each of the life cycles. So I know that the egg is the first one, and then the second one is the tadpole, so it goes after the eggs. Tadpole with legs is the next one. Next is the froglet stage, and lastly it's the adult frog. So I will be putting them in order, and the title page goes obviously in the front, and they have to write their name on it. And that's probably the first thing that they're gonna do before they even try to put the stages in order. So I'm gonna write my name. I'm gonna do it with a marker just so that it's easier to see. So since I'm the teacher, I'm going to put Miss Camacho, and the students will obviously write their own name. So there it is. And the idea is that, as I said, that they describe each of the stages, and they also have to color it, and as I said, trace the words. And I think this is a really fun activity because, for example, if they're gonna have a quiz or a test, this is something that can help them review. And I think it's also really cool that it has a visual, so they can connect the stage, the name of the stage, to the picture, as well as the information that they're gonna write on the back. So I'm gonna color it and then I'll come back.